Hi everyone, my name is Andrew and welcome to First Ballymena Online. As we continue our walk through Psalm 23, you join me here on day 2 of that walk, which I have entitled Rest. Have you ever found yourself wondering what it would be like to be a sheep? Or using the life of a sheep to compare or relate to your own life experiences? No? Me neither. It's not something we would really do. But in Psalm 23, this is exactly what David does. In writing the 23rd Psalm, David uses his experiences as a shepherd to place himself in the position of a sheep and look at things through their eyes. But why would David do this? Well, he does this to tell the readers of his relationship with God by comparing it to the relationship of that of a shepherd and his sheep. But more importantly, in doing this, David is telling us of what our relationship can be like with Jesus when we follow him. David knows the duties of a shepherd. He knows it is up to the shepherd to care for and provide for the sheep. He knows that left by themselves without direction or guidance, they would simply run about aimlessly and they wouldn't be able to care for themselves. He knows how important the shepherd is to the sheep, which is why in verse 1 he says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." See, David knows that he can do nothing without God, and how he needs God for guidance, protection and provision. From verse 2 onwards, he tells us of how God provides for him, which also means for us today. It's how Jesus provides for us. In verse 2, David writes this: "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters." During the springtime, it was important to find good grazing land for the sheep to settle down in and to pasture in. It was up to the shepherd to find suitable land that would provide enough nourishment for all of the sheep, but also a place for them to rest and to lie down. However, this was not as easy as it sounds. Philip Keller, in his book A Shepherd Looks at Psalm 23, writes that sheep do not lie down easily, and they will not lie down unless 4 conditions are met. Because they are timid, they will not lie down if they're afraid. Because they are social animals, they will not lie down if there is friction among the sheep. If flies or parasites trouble them, they will not lie down. Finally, if sheep are anxious about food or they're hungry, they will not lie down. Rest comes because the shepherd has dealt with fear, friction, flies, and famine. Another crucial factor the shepherd had to take into consideration is the provision of water. The green pastures provided food and nourishment, but the sheep also needed refreshment as well. The problem back in David's time was that there was a shortage of water in the region, so finding land with a stream of water running through it or beside it would certainly be high on a shepherd's priority list. But to make things even harder, the stream couldn't be any stream of water. It had to be calm, still waters. A sheep can be afraid to drink from rapid, quick-moving waters. The sheep were certainly hard to keep pleased. David paints a beautiful picture of the love that God had for him by using the image of sheep lying down to pasture. I found a quote by George Horne the comments on this image better than I ever could. However, I have had to paraphrase it slightly, just to bring it up to modern language, as some of the language and the words used were maybe a little bit outdated today. The loveliest image given to us by the natural world is here for the imagination, that of a flock of sheep feeding in lush, rich meadows and lying down to rest in quietness beside the rivers of water running gently through them. This image puts across an idea of the provision made to the bodies and the souls of men by God's goodness, who opens his hand and fills all living things with abundance. David finds himself at peace because of what God has done for him. The sheep are at peace because of what the shepherd has done for them. We can find peace and rest through Jesus because of what he has done for us and continues to do for us. Without Jesus, we are like the sheep, unable to do anything for ourselves, going in the wrong direction. Everything we have is because Jesus has provided it for us. Jesus is our good shepherd, and when we go astray, he is there to bring us back. He goes in front of us to guide us to the green pastures and the still waters of our lives. In the times when we need it the most, he is there to make us lie down in those pastures. In other words, he is there to give us rest when we need it the most, even when we don't know we need it. He leads us beside still waters. The still waters give us rest and refreshment for our souls. Jesus is the living water, and when we turn to him, focus at him, cast all our cares and concerns onto him, we are able to enjoy the unbreakable peace and rest that can only be found in him and him alone. Today, more than ever, we need Jesus. We are living in a time now where the green pastures look more like barren wastelands, and the still waters are raging rapids. Peace, comfort and rest are replaced by anxiety, uncertainty and despair. The coronavirus pandemic has brought about a new way of living, or the new normal, as it is being called. We are left uncertain about our future. We don't know when it will ever end, or if we will ever go back to how things were before. Verse 2 of Psalm 23 is a great reminder that no matter where we find ourselves in life, Jesus will be our good shepherd and take us to those green pastures and give us rest. Jesus tells us in Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30, "Come to me, all who labour and are heavy laden. I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Allow Jesus to be your good shepherd. Allow him to guide you to those green pastures, to those still waters. Come to him, join his flock, and experience for yourself true rest in him.